Bam! Alright, welcome back to round 2 of our casual modern Thursday night tournaments. On the left we have Jordan playing Boros Burn. On the right we have David on green-black Elves. It's kind of a rematch we had from a couple weeks ago. As I recall, Jordan ended up taking that match. Some very close matchups. And we'll see how this one plays out. So Jordan cracks us. Wooded Foothills pulls out a Sacred Foundry. Takes 2. See a Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide comes out, gets in the red zone, reveals a Woodland Cemetery. Or was that the other one? Can't remember. But that's amazing because I remember bringing it up. That's the elf one. If you reveal an elf, comes into play untapped, makes it green or black, and he drops a Nettle Sentinel. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how every game we've watched Goblin Guide, never flip lands. We've never seen him flip lands ever before. So I think I cursed that. And hopefully, you'll see the Goblin Guide flip a bunch of lands. So Jordan ends up lightning bolting the Sentinel and getting in for 4, the double Goblin Guide start. Reveals the Wild Collar. Untaps. He should have taken 2 more. It should be at 14. They're just doing the math right now. There we go. Alright. So it goes to 14. So this looks like a good start from Jordan, but he's taking a lot of damage himself, and again, Elves can start doing some lethal damage around turns 3 and 4, so we'll see how this plays out. Looks like a great start, but again, once you watch this matchup a lot, you notice that this can go both ways quite quickly. He's going to take some damage from his Big Canyon 2, I assume, unless he cracks it right away. So Jordan gets in there with both of them, gets his double trigger, reveals Forest. We're rolling those lands off the top. Another one of those. So he's just knocking those lands off the top of his deck. That would have been a lot of dead land draws for him. Chump blocks 1, takes 2. Assume he wants to keep the Sentinel around. That way he can pump it with a Lord, get it above that 2-2 mark. Can block a Goblin Guy and survive. I think Jordan's looking at it. He's probably thinking about burning it out. He does so. He skewers it, which is pretty good, but you have to remember that he's throwing a lot of burn at his creatures, and one thing you can do to survive burn is make him throw all of the burn at the creatures, when if he'd be just doming them, he'd be at 9 right now, so we'll see if that pays off in the long run. He redeploys another one, and another Granger, so he's going to play Elf. Maybe he'll tap all 3 to play his last guy, and then untap his Sentinel. So whenever you play a green creature, it comes into play, or green spell, and untaps. Alright, so now his entire board is pumped. He's got the Lord effect. He's got tons of mana, tons of elves. So now Jordan has to start making some decisions. At this point, you may just say that you've lost the creature fight and start going to the dome. Because he would have been at 9 if you'd have threw that skewer at him. 9 points is pretty feasible. But now he has got to do 12. And it's hard to attack into what he's got right now. I probably would just ignore the creatures in play, try to survive, and just try to rip burn off the top. Just go to the dome at this point. Hopefully you can survive. So, okay, he does get in there with both of them. Flips a Cavern. Man, these Goblin Guys are giving him the business. Again, it's the curse because I talked about it. Now we're just going to see Goblin Guys flip tons of lands. So he flips up. Alright. He's thinking about it. He's got to watch his life total here at this point. Just throw what you can in front of Goblins because in the same fashion, he just needs to survive. So I would definitely block both these Goblins. Because he can turn the corner right here. He's got, if he kills both of these. Nope, alright, he's taken 2 himself. I probably wouldn't have done that because now we're putting him into a 3 burn spell range instead of a 4 burn spell range. He's already given you a chance by killing one of them and not just doming you, so you should try to use that. Alright, so he drops the Forest. He's going to play another Elf to make some more mana. Oh, alright, so lead the Stampede. He's going to fill his hand up. And see, he had lead the Stampede, I think, before, too. So he definitely probably should have traded those Elves, because he's going to refill his hand up regardless. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reveals 3 Elves, it looks like. 3 Elves. Dwindling Elite, Azuri, and another Llanowar Elf. And he's still got some mana left over. So you play an Elf, tap all of your guys to play another Elf, and then untap your Sentinel. You've got 2 blockers. But you do have to know that one could get Rift Bolted, and then you can get through with both of his guys. Alright, oh, that's right, because you can get 2 elves from the Dwindling Elite. Alright, tap 3. Play Llanowar on tap Nettle. And he had, oh, okay, so he had some mana floating from the earlier Granger. That's how he did that. He had 2 floating. Pay 1, deploy him. Yeah. So at this point, I just start going up top. He definitely has the board. Your job is to now survive and top deck burn, just to knock him out. Jordan's going in the think tank. Alright, so yep, he goes up top. He knows the ground game is lost. It's now time to go to the dome. Lava Spike and Boros Charm. Yep, that is it. Packs it up. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Oh, that probably actually would have been lethal too with that Shaman off the top, Shaman of the pack off the top. That is insane. And that's what I'm saying where during that, when he threw that last 3 damage at that creature, that would have ensured that he would need 1 less burn spell to kill him. He just got lucky that he hit that burn spell and that Boros Charm at the end to finish him off anyways. So both of them go to the sideboard. Alright, so we're going to do a little fast forward here. Get into the next game while they're sideboard. Drops land. Goes into Nettle Sentinel right off the bat. Seems like a great start. Jordan drops Mountain into Suspended Riftbolt. So we'll see if on the play these elves can just burst out of the gate, out of the doors and knock them down. Alright, so he drops the Granger, comes down, Labrynth taps it for 3 green, Zuri. Yeah, can't beat that. I mean, you can beat that start, but that is a really good elf start. So you're probably going to want to Riftbolt the Zuri. That way he loses his Lord effect and his ability to just overrun his entire team. So at this point, your job is to kill some of the essential elves here. I'd probably kill the Nettle Sentinel since it is a 2/2 and can help him play stuff and attack still. And then his other elves aren't a really big threat clockwise unless you kind of get back in the game a little bit. Alright, so Eidolon comes down. That's not a bad card here. He did deploy most of his hand, so it won't be as effective, but you can just throw him in front of the Nettle if you have to. Alright, so he doesn't, which is pretty good. Pack Leader comes down, does 4 damage to him. And you still have the Eidolon there. I'd probably end up chumping the Shaman of the pack next turn if all the elves come in. Alright, so at this point in time, I would probably just sit back and ready the oncoming onslaught of elves. You definitely going to want to trade your Eidolon for something soon because you're going to take a lot of damage with the amount of 2 and 1 less burn spells you have in your hand. But the elf player has unloaded all of his threats, so he now just has to weather the storm. Again, I would probably end up blocking the 3/2 and then lightning bolting one of the other guys after your Eidolon died. He's only attacking with him, so he might have drawn a Collected Company or Lead the Stampede to get a bunch of mana, because if not this position, you should be attacking with everything. Get your maximum damage in. Oh, no, that's because if he, I don't know, if he didn't block the other way around, he took him way more damage. He couldn't have just chumped something, so now he's going to Lightning Bolt the Sentinel. Good choice. I don't think it matters at this point. Serene kills that, hits him for 1, gets back in for 1. Labrynth. We'll see if the burn player actually turned the corner here. Then every day you see the opposite, where the elf player deploys everything and can't get it done. Swift Spear. Probably going to see a 1 point. Nope. He's going to play a little bit safe, which all the burn spells that Jordan has in his hand, playing it safe isn't a terrible idea. He can attack because you just get eaten by the Monastery Swiftspear. Alright. Got a Rift Bolt. Looks like you got a Rift Bolt, Boros Sharp, Syrian Blaze. Still just passes a turn. Monastery Swiftspear holding the fort down. Now if he attacks with everything, he can kill an elf, pump up the Monastery Swiftspear, block everything. Yep, so probably going to see that. He's going to take 1 from his own Sunbaked Canyon. Probably going to do a point of damage to the pseudo Llanowar Elf. 1 and 1. Pumps up his guy, makes him a 2/3. Can kill the Dwindling Elite. And it replaces it. It's like, you killed it, it's back. Oh, second Monastery Swiftspear. Alright, so this is definitely spelling doom for the elf player. Alright, so he takes 1 himself. Lava Spikes. And gets in for just 2. At that point in time, I don't know if I would have taken 1 to Lava Spike and just to attack with 1 Monastery. I mean, you can't just let him keep drawing in. He's going to eventually hit a Collected Company and stuff. So there you go. Okay, much better. That's what I wanted to see. You have to get these numbers on him. Because again, if he hits a Lead the Stampede or a Collected Company or some other elf now, you aren't looking too pretty. So, in the worst case scenario, you take 3 damage back. Like, you left yourself open to take 3, so. Alright, so David untaps. This game has now changed. I believe he is about 2 turns away from just getting burned out. So, Elvish Wildcolor comes down, pumps up his entire team. Jordan ends up just taking 6. Goes to 3. We'll find out what happens here. Draws his card. And that may have done it. So we'll see here. Jordan goes in the Think Tank. He knows if he taps a Sunbaked Canyon, he takes a point, goes to 2. Which he's going to do. Does 2 to him. 3. Goes to 6. And he's going to keep those back to defend because he can only take 1. So we'll see. Does he rip another Lord? Oh, he does. Back-to-back Lords off the top. And that puts him away. Oh, man. There's so many different ways that played out that, like, that double back-to-back Lords off the top of the deck is why you kind of have to put that that gun under David and ready to pull that trigger. There's 1 turn there that he could have snuck in an extra point of damage, but you see him at 6, it doesn't really matter. Also, Jordan only hitting 2 lands, one of them being Sunbaked to put him on a bad spot. But that's just funny watching that game go back and forth, where he looks like one person's out, and then the other person's out, and then it just takes a good top deck here and there to get you back in the game. Nope, that was it. He's just thinking about if he's taking damage or not. Alright, so he does take the 2. Gonna pull out Sacred Foundry. And hopefully we'll see a Goblin Guide coming to town. Woo woo! All aboard that Goblin train. Come on, ride the train. And ride it. Woo woo! Come on, ride the train. And ride it. Alright. Goblin Guy comes down. Swiftspear comes down, hits him for 1. David drops the caves. Puts down a Llanowar Elf. Says go. Jordan drops Inspiring Vantage. Syrian blazes the elf, end him for 3. Gets in for another 2. This is a fast and furious game. Draws it. Alright, drops the Elfin Palace. Revealing the elf he's going to play, which is going to produce a bunch of mana. Alright, Jordan untaps. Draws what looks to be another Sunbaked Canyon. He just got handfuls of Sunbaked Canyons. Alright. So he gets in for 1. Probably wouldn't block at this point. Alright. Does 2 to him, 3 to David. Pumps. And gets a Rift Bolt. So this is not good for David. He's about 2 burn spells away from death now with a Monastery Swisspear in play, and he's only gotten a Lana Elf. At this point, he's got a Collected Company, and hope it hits just the best. So he goes to 6, which is 2 burn spells from death. It looks like he drew a Syrian Blaze. I think this game is over. So 3 and 3, but he's going to use it to Collected Company. But I'm pretty sure I saw a Lightning Bolt in his hand, so I don't think it matters. Unless he has some kind of... Oh no, because even if he gets life gain on the stack, he still has to Lightning Bolt. So, Wild Collar Sentinel comes down. Don't think it matters. Monorail dives, goes to 3, Lightning Bolt comes down, game over. Good game. Burn takes it in 3. That's a pretty pivotal swing match game too, so it's cool to see, but that can just happen. And he's got Scavenge News, but that wouldn't have mattered. He had all the kill creatures do damage to player's hand. Just the optimal burn hand versus Elves right there. So, ooh, that's a saucy sideboard card. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you in round 3.